Check out the fully Ramblematic merchandise in our Second Wind store. There's t-shirts, stickers, pins, a fully posable magnet of mead you can put on your fridge, dishwasher, or meth lab. Go to shop.secondwindgroup.com and check it out.
Support independent media and leave the smoldering ruins of corporate idiocy behind with Second Wind logo products from DFTBA. Head on over to shop.secondwindgroup.com for shirts, stickers, and the satisfaction of helping sustain a worker-owned outlet. Plus, we've got cool bird merch, and everyone loves cool birds.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Windbreakers podcast. Sorry if you just caught a weird sound out of context there. That was just Jay being his usual professional self. Hello, I'm
That wasn't me.
That
That was
wasn't
Eric.
Jay.
That was Eric. That was Eric only in our ears. We could have rolled right through it. No one would have known.
It's true.
I thought it was Jay because he put his hands over his mouth like the way you do.
Because I was so flabbergasted by what Eric done. But to be fair, I am usually not very professional, so Yachts is right.
There you go. Well, anyway, I'm joined by Jay and Marty as usual. And less usually, I'm joined by Jack today as well.
Yes, I'm here as well.
Because we're talking about comedy, which is something he claims to know things about.
Listen, 3 separate businesses pay me money to be funny. I think I get to call myself a professional comedian.
I think so.
Whether you're funny or not doesn't matter. You are a professional comedian.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've had some like really bad sandwiches from sandwich stores, right? Like
They're
they're
still
paid to
sandwich
sell 'em.
makers.
Yeah.
They're still sandwich makers.
CEOs get paid billions, so theoretically, they are the best at whatever the fuck it is they do in the universe.
Exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, I
yes,
figured
we're
we've done chats about comedy as in like funny writing, like, oh, Tim Schafer, your goofs are so good. But I thought it'd be fun to talk about comedy in games almost as games as a comedy engine, games as a vehicle to distribute comedy to us in a way that, you know, isn't just, oh, that's a funny joke they wrote.
Yeah, because we were talking about games that make us cry last week, and discovered that we can't really think of any games that organically make us cry. It's always in like crafted story moments. But humor, on the other hand, games are very good at creating organic humor. I would argue that games are better at doing comedy in sort of natural slapstick ways than they are when using dialogue the traditional way.
Ooh.
When people talk about comedy games, like my go-to example was always Painkiller, because it always made me laugh when you'd shoot a dude with the stake launcher that fires bits of wood the size of a tree, and they'd fly into a wall and all their arms and legs would fly off, and you'd laugh. And maybe you couldn't articulate why you laughed, but it was fucking funny.
Well, what is comedy? I'm sure Jack can answer this. Like, because if we get to the root of what comedy is,
starting with the easy questions.
It's just, what is comedy? That's an easy question.
How do you construct a joke?
Well,
what is the funnies? What makes us laugh? What
that's
that?
easy.
There's a science to it.
Yeah, a joke is a setup, then a payoff. Am I right, Jack?
Well, right. Comedy, much like all entertainment, is a build-up and release of tension. Comedy specifically, all comedy boils down to juxtaposition. The setup is the what do you call it? The base reality, and then you juxtapose that base reality, and something funny happens. That's the mathematical formula.
I've heard anthropologists argue that comedy has its start when primitive man sort of thought they heard like a saber-toothed tiger sneaking up on them, turned around, realized that there wasn't a saber-toothed tiger, and just felt relief because there was no tiger there. And comedy is all just a derivation of that feeling of having one's tension released. in that.
The really
in that
fun
way.
thing is there have been brain scans of people listening to comedic things, and what they find is that humans in general, we like to kind of solve the puzzle before it is finished. We like to finish a sentence as we are listening to it. We finish it in our brain before the person says it, so we can start putting context things together. And because a joke subverts expectations, because it's juxtaposition, we have excess energy in our brain cells that needs to be released in some manner. That comes out as Gah!
Well, this is why shooting the dudes in Painkiller with the snake gun makes me laugh, because it's a setup and payoff, but where the setup is your own brain going, I'm about to shoot this guy. And that's something only interactive media can do. Everything else has to like set up the joke itself, but we set up the joke. We're saying, I'm going to shoot this guy in the head. And then that builds up the anticipation of them getting shot and all their arms and legs flying off, and so we laugh.
I mean, with Painkiller specifically, it was the advent of like physics engines in games that allowed that. Like killing guys in like a 2D Super Nintendo game. Is any arcade game like funny, like a beat 'em up? Like you're not getting humor from that action because it's all sort of simplistic, and what happens when you do something is exactly what you thought would happen. As opposed to once physics engines were introduced, it's like I killed a guy, but then look what happened to his body. Look how he fell down the stairs, and look how he landed. That is silly.
That starts with the jibbing in Quake 1, I think, where characters would explode into little particles, and you knew they were going to explode, but you didn't know what direction all the particles were going to fly off in. And for some reason, that was just the extra spice that we needed. And of course, from that comes ragdoll physics, which has been a classic branch of the comedy engine tree ever since it was first devised. There are entire videos on YouTube that are just ragdolls falling downstairs, and for some reason, it never ceases to make us laugh.
Right, because ragdoll physics in particular, because we know that no human actually got hurt, and so we just get to kind of unapologetically enjoy the human figure doing ridiculous things. It's a safe place to laugh at injury.
But surely the fact that it is a human and that a human would be injured by that sort of thing is what makes it funny. Because if it was just like a slinky or a box bouncing off things as it falls.
Particularly the more serious the game that has ragdoll physics, the funnier it is. It's
a tone shift thing. That's the juxtaposition.
Exactly.
Yes, I've often thought that in like Grand Theft Auto 4. Very, very gritty tone, and then you do just flies off a motorbike like a big sack of spuds.
And then people have gone in and modded, like, I think genuinely one of the funniest video series I've ever seen is, I think a guy modded GTA 5 and moved all the traffic, it might have been 4, but moved all the traffic to like times 1,000 speed. And so it is just insane. And all he's trying to do is finish one mission, but it is like legitimately impossible to cross the road because it is so chaotic. And when you get hit by one of those cars, you just go flying across the map. And so that is like someone taking an open world crime game and being like, let me turn this into just a comedy, like an engine for comedy, a thing that just creates comedic moments over and over again.
Yes, the extra spice there is irreverence. And I've spoken before about how much I love sort of the kind of thing where people hack into games and replace, the Nemesis with Thomas the Tank Engine. Because on top of like just being funny slapstick, it's just funny that someone took something deadly serious and just pissed all over it. Just made it irreverent. That's why I laugh at looking at mods like Crack Life, where they just take Half-Life and give the scientists big stupid afros and direct penises. It's like graffiti. It's a defiant cry from the soul.
They give the Half-Life scientists big old woodies?
I think Jack and I just experienced the juxtaposition of comedy in that fucking sentence.
Look at that guy, you got a boner down there. Gordon Freeman got a boner. But no, there is...
This is all in the spirit of the alternative comedy movement. I mean, back in the 80s in the UK, there was this movement against like bland mainstream comedy, which was usually like family sitcoms and Prime Minister and that kind of thing. And there was like a wave of comedians like Rick Mayall and Aid Edmondson and Alexi Sale and Ben Elton, who would just produce stuff like the young ones that was just poo and jokes and bum gags and knob gags and people hitting each other with frying pans. And it was funny because it was like in defiance of an establishment. That's why we laugh.
I think that's fair. I do like the other thing though that is kind of an important talking point when we talk about comedy in games is an expectation for comedy, a space in which it is safe to laugh. And so, like, I think if I were playing like a Resident Evil game and all of a sudden Thomas the Tank Engine busts through a door without me understanding that I installed those mods, I think I would be more confused than laugh at it. Whereas if someone installed those mods and is like live streaming and like, hey, we all have an expectation for comedy, then those laughs can come a little bit easier.
Which is interesting, also, though, right?
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Because it's like we were talking about the kind of the unexpected and the juxtaposition being a driving force for that comedy, but there's also the expectation. We're collectively anticipating this thing, and even though we kind of understand the punchline, the build up in itself is also a part of it.
Yeah, I think so.
I once did like a Let's Play video of XCOM with a friend back in when I mostly put stuff on my own YouTube channel, and turns out. If you install XCOM on PC and you go into the files, you can, all the words that are used by the game to like build the code names for missions and for like the names of all the random names that are generated by the soldiers, they're all in plain text files. So, largely for my own amusement, I went through and changed all the words that are used for mission code names. Like they usually call things like Operation Epic Valkyrie or that sort of thing. I took that entire word list and replaced every word on it with a word I find inherently funny. Yes. So, and then I did like the play through the game without telling my co-host what I'd done. And we started getting sent on missions like, you must now embark on mission Operation Creamy Afternoon and Operation Sweaty Jockstrap.
Yes. Yes.
And creamy is a funny word. Creamy is a very funny word.
I know, I love creamy as an inherently funny word to just stick on the front of things. And we were like 3 missions in before he twigged. And it made me laugh.
That's all that
But that gets us onto the less slapstick side of things, because, Marty, the other game you brought up when you suggested this topic was the new Nintendo Life thing.
Yeah, Tomodachi Life. Which is a bit like it's like if Animal Crossing were more of like a social engineering experiment where you create these Miis and you don't control them. You're kind of like the god of the town, and then you give them some personalities, and then you just watch what happens to them, and they just get themselves in the like absolute strangest, like most bizarre non sequitur scenarios, and it's through that the comedy arises, because it's like, oh, you've created Hideo Kojima and the Queen and your mom and your neighbor and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they're all living in the same town, and it's the way those things collide, which I think people like. There's almost different ways to play games like this, because I think there's people who played, like when The Sims came out, they played it very straight-laced, right? They were like, I want to create a nice house and get a family and build a house and get a nice job. And there's other people who are like, what if I create a toilet room and I lock the man in the toilet room, and then let's see what happens to the man when he lives in the toilet room. Which I think is along
those lines.
Yeah. It's funny though, because Nintendo, despite the fact that Tomodachi Life is, I think, one of the most like inherently like viral moment producing Nintendo games in a very long time, they have put some like stringent restrictions on being able to share your footage. Like you can screenshot it, but you can't easily export those screenshots to your phone to share anything, because part of it is there's also like a text to speech kind of language thing. So you have this like but a thing that's like speaking words, and you can have it say very bad things. So to Nintendo's credit, they kind of don't have guardrails there, but Nintendo I think was aware of that and was like, well, let's not make this as easily shareable as possible, because we don't want these things being associated with our game.
So it's Mad Libs, and as a little bit, the case. As is always the case with little boys get Mad Libs, things turn puerile very fast.
Yes, 100%.
I've been writing I've been working on like a semi-autobiographical video game history in my spare time, and what I've concluded is that when there's no restrictions on anything, if you let nerds exercise their creative spirit, they'll gravitate very, very swiftly to gore, tits, and Nazis.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it seems like. All those card games, like Cards Against Humanity and shit.
Yeah. That's id Software's entire early years, and that's also the entire filmography of Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
That's one of the easiest ways to be funny, though, right? Because you were just talking about Cards Against Humanity. Why does everyone, like when you're playing Jackbox, why does everyone default to using the word?
So do I.
Me too.
Most people do. But why do people always gravitate to the word come, right? In Jackbox, they always use that word.
I think it's easy.
It's really easy, right? It's
like taboo, but no one's offended by it. No one's like, oh no, you said come.
It's an easy laugh, but the same for like tits, Nazis, and gore, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you hit upon it there because cum is like a double entendre. It has two meanings. It's very easily fits into a double entendre joke.
What does it easily fit into?
Like all those survival horror games that have the bit where someone says "Don't come."
It's also a funny looking word when it's spelled C-U-M because it's like one letter and then the next letter is that same letter rotated 90 degrees and then the last letter is it rotated 180 degrees and then doubled.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's just aesthetically a funny word.
I think that's the real reason people find it funny.
Yeah. Comedy gold right there. And also the
comedy gold right there.
And also if you put the number 300 on its side, it looks like a bum pooing. And that's why it is the funniest number.
I like that.
I think like
things like gore, tits, and Nazis are like baby's first comedy, right? Where it's like if you are not clever enough to be subversive on your own, if you're not clever enough to have a good setup and punchline, you go to gore, tits, and Nazis because those are easy things that usually or historically people have been offended by, and sometimes shock is just as good as comedy. Not in my book, but
so when it comes to comedy engines, so far we're talking about basically taking something that was never intended to be funny and being irreverent with it.
Right.
So what do you think are examples of good comedy games that are intentionally comedy games?
What I came up with was a couple moments, and one game that I think is the epitome of comedy game. Speaking mechanically, because I know you guys have talked before about written comedy, and like a written moment to me is not a game moment. That is a story moment. But I put them, I go into three different categories here. We have kind of written comedy, we have actual mechanical comedy, and then we have it's funny because I'm with friends. Those are the three kind of separate moments.
That's certainly relevant with the friend slop wave that we're in the middle of.
Friend slop, streamer bait games, like those are sandboxes in which they hope you ragdoll, right? Those are comedy, kind of like those are Cards Against Humanity comedy.
It's not even hope. The mechanics are directly set up to cause friction between multiplayer interactions to create that ludic play, that story, that comedy through play. It's all set up for it.
Exactly. The first example I came up with for a good comedy moment in a game, mechanically speaking, and I struggled with this because I really wanted to find a comedy moment in the Dark Souls series, as is my want to do. And what I came up with was the moment in Dark Souls 3 in which you have to help Sigurd go up the elevator. I don't know if you remember this.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a little puzzle in which you go down the elevator and you don't understand why it can't go up until you realize you have to make it go down first before you can go up. And I remember the first time I figured that out, I laughed very hard.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
It's like a good that feels like a mechanical goof they put in there. And I do think FromSoft does that off. Like I think Sen's Fortress as an area is as much like the first time you go through it, it is a tense, scary dungeon where one misstep means getting hit by a flying blade or a lizard or getting knocked off a staircase by a rolling boulder. I think once you've experienced that and the tension goes away, those moments become slapsticky. Like those moments become fucking Looney Tunes Acme traps. That I think are genuinely funny.
Even conceptually, just like swinging blades, that's a very, Johnny Quest.
It's like very cartoonish, right? It's like extremely silly compared to like a boss fight against some big scary dragon or something. And I do think it's kind of there as a like a release valve, because those games, like those worlds are so oppressive and the stories are so bleak, and the odds are so stacked against you.
I think a lot of people knocking off Dark Souls, people making Souls-likes, don't fully grasp that From Software approached Dark Souls with a subtle sense of humor, and had a liking for occasional weird shit that, on the one hand, could be considered lighter moments, on the other hand, was still part of the engine of pain and chaos, like the giant mushrooms that look silly, and you chase the little mushrooms and they waddle away like you're a big bully. And then they lead you to one of their big brother mushroom pals, who just lay you fucking out with a single blow. Or there's Tortoise Pope in Elden Ring. There's just a big old tortoise wearing a Pope hat.
That's true.
And Sigmire as a whole, like Sigmire's entire role is comic relief. Like you'll see him outside a monster arena. He'll say, "We're going to need like 12 dudes and maybe some kind of siege weapon." Then you just run in and kill everything. And he's like, "Oh, well, I guess that works."
Correct, but I would put that into kind of the written comedy category, of like that's not like game interaction, even though like we do something. To me, I'll put this out here. Oh, go ahead.
The high difficulty of Dark Souls is infused with comedy, as you say. It's like a release of energy. Like when you get eaten by a mimic you didn't realize was a mimic, or you're just trying to mind your own business, and then some asshole runs up out of nowhere and stabs you in the arse. I mean, at that point, all you can do is laugh. Especially if, like, he stabs you in the arse, you fall down a cliff, and you land inside the mouth of a shark or something. I think it's just funny how over the top it can get.
Multiplayer is a really important aspect of that in general, right? Not just talking about the asynchronous notes like try finger but hole and all that dumb rubbish, but also being invaded can be a really funny moment when because being invaded is very tense. You could lose a lot of progress, and it's also the idea of facing off against another person is inherently more intimidating than something that is going to cycle through specific moves. They could act unpredictably, so it's tense. So when someone invades you and then they decide to like drop an item, emote, and then like kill themselves, that release of like I'm not worried anymore is like really funny and like adds to whatever they're doing.
That's fair.
So that can have comedy in it as well.
That would be fair. I've one example of maybe the best example of a mechanically funny game, not reliant on anything written at all, even though the written portions are funny.
Is it Portal?
Frog Fractions.
Okay, I was going to say Portal.
I haven't played Frog Fractions.
I don't think Portal is inherently funny within the mechanics. I don't think going through the portals is funny.
I disagree. I think the premise of Portal is that
let's go.
I'd say the premise of Portal is that it's a comedy game, right? And it's infused with comedic writing, obviously. But it's also about turning physics on its head. I mean, you walk through a door and it leads to somewhere other than where it's supposed to lead. That's sort of an immediate, viscerally quirky thing. To say nothing of how you can fling yourself across the room by exploiting the transfer of momentum from like falling a long distance. I think it's more than just like written jokes. I think it plays funnily. I think it's a quirky physics game.
And I think pushback. Oh no, but just my really quick pushback to that would be there's a lot of post Portal. There were a lot of indie puzzle games that kind of were doing a Portal thing, right? First person, some key mechanic that they then built on. But those didn't have the funny. And those games, to me, mechanically never came across as funny. And so I wonder if Portal didn't have the funny veneer, if that would seem funny.
Well, that goes back to my statement on expectations. On like basically the written funniness of Portal gives you mental room for it to be funny. Without the written portions, you know what you got? The witness.
Also, on
Game's
expectations,
not
I
fucking
think
funny at all.
no, all
No,
good.
not at
Lol. But to side with Yachts on that a little bit is also, speaking of expectations, I think Paul does an amazing job of setting up mechanical expectations of what the puzzle is, and then in nearly every single one of its puzzles, apart from its tutorialization ones, they do subvert those expectations. Now, whether that ends up being funny inherently, I'm not sure, but I do think it lends itself a lot to the comedy that the game is going for. So I think they blend together, in my opinion.
I think there's an argument to be made for Portal, but in something like Frog Fractions, where they set up a base reality of gameplay expectations, and then, spoiler alert for Frog Fractions, by the way, you discover that you can break those expectations, leading you to a journey, is mechanically funny.
Yeah, I love. There's a lot of comedy in a game where you realize that it goes entirely other than what you expected, and then it just keeps going.
Yes,
like it never seems to stop. Like most recently, Date Everything, I think, does that pretty well. Because on the surface of that, you're just a dude in an apartment. But then you realize you can interact with everything, like literally. Everything is a character with a deep conversation. But the fucking light switches, the walls, the bed, the couch, the kitchen chairs, the fridge.
Baldur's Gate 3 for that, I think, is another one.
It's a deep rabbit hole, is what it is.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3, I think, is definitely kind of like an engine, a sandbox where you can make very funny things happen.
Similar to like any TTRPG you're playing, right? Like
of course.
If you and the dungeon master are funny enough, you guys can make something funny happen.
Yeah, theoretically.
And we did.
What? Adventures Night Season 5 out now?
Incredible.
I did certainly have Frog Fractions in mind when I was making Hatfall, the zero punctuation game.
Sure.
Because the joke in that was, it was like the basic gameplay loop where you have to catch hats, but then every now and again you'd collect like an upgrade from the shop that was like Hat Assassin's Creed, the hot new AAA game, and then it wasn't clear what it did until like a couple of rounds later the entire game crashes, and then as like a joke about how Assassin's Creed games were crashing a lot at the time. And then it reboots as like an entire dating sim. And I wrote an entire fucking dating sim where you date a hat. And there's like multiple different paths you can go through.
Jesus.
I just think the more effort you put into the rabbit hole, the funnier it gets. Certainly for me, as the person making it.
The rabbit hole is great because then you're basically keeping your audience on the toes. Like in my head, though, what I'm imagining is like, what if you play through the entirety of Super Mario Brothers 1, and then like while replaying it for the 50th time, you decide to run left. And if you run left, Princess Peach is just there waiting for you the whole time. Like, why? Where did like something where they set something up mechanically that you can then break is what I'm thinking.
Well,
Far Cry 4.
I was about to say yes. That was the gag in Far Cry 4, wasn't it?
Oh, I didn't play Far Cry 4. Go tell me.
At the very start of Far Cry 4, like the villain captures you. And he's doing like the whole Bond villain thing where you're having dinner with him, and he says, "Oh, I got to go deal with like some dude I have to torture. Just wait here for 15 minutes, and we'll finish this up." And obviously, what you're supposed to do then is sort of flee out the window and then start the actual game. But if you actually wait an actual 15 minutes, the guy comes back and goes, "Great, well, let's get on with it." And then it just like skips straight to the end of the game.
And I think he said something like, "I didn't think you'd still be here." Yeah, and then you get a credit roll, and I'm like, "Okay, that's a good goof." Like
that's a great goof. That is a fantastic goof. Yeah. Because as we talk about,
it was like because it was a good goof, they sort of did the exact same goof in Far Cry 5 and 6, but it wasn't as good.
No, you can't redo it. Like, as we talk about, like, kind of telling a story through mechanics in games, the thing that differentiates games from movies is the gameplay. So how can we tell a story via gameplay? It's how can we tell jokes via gameplay? That's to me is the big question in comedy games.
Because because otherwise, if it's not imbued with the interactive nature of the medium, then just make a fucking comedy TV special or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's also the things that kind of the internet causes certain things to take a life of their own and become a meme. Like Skyrim has the waking up on the cart, and it has the
meta
or whatever. Like stuff that
the meta comedy.
If you were the only person in the world who played this game and you were only basing it on your experience, that wouldn't be funny. But the fact that everyone has glommed onto it and repurposed it throughout the internet kind of gives it the spice.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Should we go to super chats? And if we were, we made.
Did we solve comedy, Jack? Before we go to super chats, we like to see if we solved whatever the problem was. So did we solve comedy?
Okay, here my ending statement of what I want to say is I don't think we are doing enough with comedy and mechanics. I could come up with a few examples, and of course, kind of the one game, but I don't think we're doing enough things to bring comedy into games that isn't just you got a sidekick that says a funny thing every once in a while.
Especially I think
that more.
Especially in the AAA space. I think people are kind of afraid of that. You know who isn't? Hideo Kojima. Give me a button to just let me piss in your game.
Okay, so two
Monster
examples
Energy
here.
drinks back in my house.
Mike, let me blow your tits off. I got my PS5 last night, and I played two games that one was funny and one wasn't, and one was trying to be and one wasn't.
Okay.
Pissing in Death Stranding 1. That's fun. Turning into a little mushroom so people can tell where I've taken a piss on a secret little section of the mountain. Awesome. The opening to Borderlands 4, it's like pulling teeth.
Oh,
it's
God.
it's trying way too hard to be quippy and funny in its story and its dialogue, and it just falls flat for me. Just let me piss.
Yes, well, we're not talking about quippy. Quippy is the very thing we want to avoid talking about.
Oh, yes.
We're talking about Quibi, and what we're doing is I'm saying all comedy should be in 4-minute vertical chunks.
More Quibi.
Anyway, let's start with Nidarom, who gives $5 and says, Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip was a good vehicle for a lot of comedic moments and was short enough to not overstay its welcome and become stale. I did that one in Yahtzee Tries a while back, and I do. Yes, it was a very visually funny game. Characters always doing like the thing the Monty Python Gumbies always used to do with the elbows.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like just movement and animations can be funny. Like you can give characters like funny little animations or funny little things that will. Yeah, Luigi. Yeah, absolutely. Him being constantly terrified or.
I always liked the animations in. Speaking of Luigi, I always like the animations in the Mario and Luigi RPGs. Back in the pixel art days. But they just do funny little dances while they were waiting to fight, and it was funny to watch. They'd stick their bums out.
Yeah,
I love it when they
any sort of like pose that you can make your characters do, and then you just find yourself kind of like flicking the stick back and forth so they do their little poses. Yeah, it's great.
Well, I think I brought this up during our Breath of the Wild bingo, but I will always laugh at you find a Korok in Breath of the Wild and it goes Yata, and it has the little thing, and that it's one of those if you like found it under a rock, if you drop the rock right on them, they go oh. It's just a very funny like surprise, and then you just drop it on them, and they're like, oh, you did not care.
Slapstick.
Beautiful.
Oh dear. Sano's the Hedgehog is $2 and says Hi-Fi Rush's slapstick comedy made us fairly laugh. Scripted, of course, but
was that? Yeah, it was scripted. Yeah, but still, for an action game, I thought it brought the chuckles.
Yes, because it was rhythm based, which helps, I think.
Yeah, and like really good kind of lighthearted presentation. Like it's a light world, which is very nice. Yeah.
Raven gives $5 to say Raven's weekly word of the week. Week 48, sardonic. That's the best I could do. Trying to match this topic. Lol. Yeah. We know what sardonic means.
Yeah.
I hope.
Sure. Yeah, all of us do.
Yeah, but just for the non-dyslexics.
Just in case, though, you should probably say what it means.
It just means, sarcastic, droll, dry in wit.
Okay, cool.
Hang on. I'm going to go to the thesaurus now and find a better obscure word that means funny.
What about funny?
I mean, how do you feel about facetious? I like facetious.
Sure.
I always think of
Or,
sardonic as a little mean.
Yeah.
Or I guess
little
it's on
bit,
like the darker edge of the comedy spectrum.
It's well, I just looking up on the thesaurus again. Acerbic, biting, caustic, derisive, mocking, mordant, and satirical.
Uproarious.
Well, that's just like uproar with an extension built on the end.
Do you think there's any downroariouses?
It's got a bungalow.
Well, it wouldn't be
If
much
you're
of a
doing it
roar
right,
if
you
it
get
was
a
down.
downroarious. Yeah.
It'd be more of a down squeak.
Downsqueak sounds like it would be like the subtitle of a Rescuers Down Under, like 5 straight to DVD. Downsqueak.
Yes, downsqueak.
Right. Up the squeak without a paddle.
Ah! I like it.
Ooh, damn.
Anyway.
See him out.
Then Raven comes back with another $2 and says, "Oof, my bad. That should be week 49." Well, I don't think any of us cared, Raven, but thanks. For the extra
I
$2.
noticed it.
I
and
did.
I was disappointed. You got your week wrong. So
Sinos the Hedgehog comes back with $5 and says, "Happy May the 4th, lads. Bought Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge on VR. More shoot and loot than lightsabers and goes on for a bit long, but still fun." Well, nobody asked Sinos the Hedgehog.
has
but
there ever
thanks.
been a funny moment in a Star Wars game? Are Star Wars
No,
games capable
never.
of being funny?
What was that dance Star Wars game?
Oh
where they,
yeah, but
had
that was funny.
Han
Solo
Solo.
dancing around.
Han
The Connect
Solo.
Han
one.
Solo song. Yeah.
Yes. That was funny to see.
I guess that
I'm
is funny.
sure. I've never played any of the Knights of the Old Republic games, but those being very large role-play
there's
games,
a-
I'm sure there's a couple.
Oh, and the Lego games. Lego games usually have
Oh,
like a good
lots of
kinda
laughs in
Well,
the Lego games.
Well,
sense
that's
of humor to them.
I don't think that counts. The humor comes from
I
the
think
Lego,
it
not from
does.
the Star Wars bit.
But still,
Yeah,
Star
but
Wars
they
game.
set up, they use your expectations and knowledge of the source material to then subvert that expectation to
All
tell
right,
a
all
joke
right.
with no dialogue. I think
Yeah, but-
Lego games should 100% be considered in manufacturing
were-
their own comedy.
Well, we were talking about what's a funny Star Wars game.
Okay,
It
well
seems fair.
then when Johnny Starkiller pulled the ship out the sky, I thought it was really cool and I laughed and I pissed.
Pissed? I can't believe you pissed.
Of joy. I was like, ha ha ha, I was laughing so much.
Jay's getting so
Okay.
old, he's starting to pee when he laughs.
What happens
Happens
to
to the
us
best of us. Happens to the best of us.
Anyway, Pure Pyro 1 gives €2 and says, "Drunken highway crossing contest in GTA with friends." Yes,
Oh,
the
is that like
Euphoria
you get
engine.
your character drunk and then you try to cross
Yeah,
the
the
highway?
Euphoria engine was always well, it was a bit sticky at the best of times. You make your character drunk, it becomes hilarious.
That was a silly moment, and again, a scripted moment, but a silly moment like Red Dead 2 in an otherwise relatively serious game to have the moment where
Yes.
you get super drunk at the bar and then you're just
Yeah.
the controls and the camera become all stumbly.
Face
Yeah,
plant in the
yeah.
mud. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
What's your favorite weird gameplay handicap that happens when the main character is drunk? A lot of the time they'll
Oh.
do the wobbly screen. I've seen a lot of the wobbly screen.
I didn't know you were gonna put the drunk caveat on there, and I was like Psycho Mantis, Metal Gear Solid.
Knowing why do you know what's on my hard drive?
Why do you know what's on my save disc?
Tommy's got quite the blep going on.
Uh-oh. Blepping.
Bless him.
His tongue sticking right out.
Good.
Hashtag
Oh,
blepped.
stretching. Oh.
And tongue still out. Yeah. Yeah, you blep. You blep,
Blepped.
you beautiful son of a
Blepped,
bitch. Anyway, Mark Boehner gives €10 and says, "It likely gets mentioned, but the games that got me to laugh are the Yakuza games. Ace Attorney plus Ghost Trick. Kiryu helping a dominatrix to find self-confidence in Zero, or helping MJ with a music video." Yes, those are quite funny games. And a lot of the humor for me comes from the fact that they do all these silly things while the main character continues to be an extremely straight-faced, angry-looking Yakuza man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again,
always-
juxtaposes them with like the hyper melodramatic story beats with the absolutely batshit insane side characters and side quests.
It's always why I loved Cromartie High School as well. It's like a silly, almost Dadaist, surreal comedy, but where every character is just a really burly dude with a really fixed, angry expression on their face.
Love a burly boy.
Nice.
Fuzzy Freestyle comes back with $5 and says, "Rolled credits on Starstruck Vagabond for PS5. Addictive gameplay, clever humor, and a satisfying narrative. Can't wait to plunder the rest of the map." Well, I'm relieved to hear you got over that crash bug you reported last week, Fuzzy Freestyle. Because, yeah, I believe the dudes working on the port are investigating that one, last I heard.
Also, thanks for reporting crash bugs. It's incredibly helpful.
Yes. Sorry, I keep looking at my dog because he's being so cute.
If you see any Crash Bandicoots, report those as well.
Yes, call animal control and tell them about the Crash Bandicoots.
I think I'm going to go my whole life without ever seeing a real life Bandicoot, and that kind of makes me sad.
Where are we going, Marty? Where the fuck is this conversation going, Marty?
Just me saying I don't think I'm going to see a real life Bandicoot in life.
You can see a Bandicoot.
Trying to engineer comedy. We haven't solved it.
Not the Madison Zoo. They don't got any Bandicoots here.
You might have to leave the city you currently live in.
No, I'm going to live and die in Dane County.
Steinos the Hedgehog gives... Sorry, he's just being too cute right now. Steinos the Hedgehog gives $5 and says, how not to do comedy, Borderlands, Sacred 3, Immortals Phoenix Rising, Sunset Overdrive, and everything coming out of both Sonic and Nathan Drake's fat gobs.
I think several of those games have funny moments, though. I think Immortals Phoenix Rising, Sunset Overdrive, I think Sonic games and Uncharted games can have funny moments. I do think they can have unfunny moments.
But they're all so quippy.
Quippy. You know who else is quippy? Fucking us.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true. Quip.
I see myself more as a sardonic wit sort of person.
We all know what that word means, but for people who don't.
It's not wit quippy. Though, Yards. You're a sardonic git.
God get. I don't know what that means.
We are quippy, but we are also live, so that is very different. There is a very real problem in all forms of comedy, and as someone who watches a lot of comedy movie and performs live comedy a lot, sometimes when people aren't being funny, they assume that if they just shove more words out of their mouth hole, eventually something funny will happen.
That is exactly the Borderlands problem. See, there's a difference between spontaneously coming up with witty bon mots and delivering scripted quips that sound scripted. Quippity quip quip cue card quip. Like the stuff they read out at the start of the panel show.
It's very painful and it is a problem across all mediums and that's I know that like the quipification of AAA games is something that has been coming up a lot recently and it's a huge problem. It's just shut up. Just shut your goddamn mouth.
Is the MCU to blame?
100%.
You're Sweden
specifically. And incidentally, the plural of medium is media, not mediums, but not that really irritates me or anything.
Oh, okay. I won't.
That really, Yahtzee, that also really helped with the conversation. So thanks for pointing that out. So that really got us to where we needed to go. That wasn't just for you to stroke off your own little ego over there.
Wow. What is wrong with us? We are being really combative this morning.
We're being sardonic. We learned what sardonic is. We all want to be like Sardonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Anyway, Murray the Demonic Skull gives $5 and says, shout out to the person wearing the Second Wind Founder tee at the Carlingwood Staples in Ottawa this past Saturday. People here exist in real world. Probably one of us.
Shout out to Canadian. One of us just hanging out at the Staples in Ottawa.
In Ottawa. I mean, we could be working in Canada at some point in the future.
Listen, if stuff starts going, it keeps going in the direction it's going in, we could be living in Canada soon, so who knows?
Well, quite.
If we're lucky.
Jim Matchett, member for 29 months in Tipjar. Thank you very much. 29 months, thanks, bloody hell. And then Kyle Stubberman gives $5 and says, the other week I was confused when I went from listening to a Second Wind podcast to listening to Dungeons and Daddies. Yeah, I didn't tell anyone, but I recorded a cameo for the start of a recent episode of Dungeons and Daddies.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
That's exciting.
And I made sure to ask them for a plug for both Second Wind and Adventure is Nigh, which I told them
out now.
I know. Incredible. I told them I figured their audience might be interested.
Also, if you want to see one of the best confrontations in Adventure is Nigh history, Yahtzee and Jack have one in this first episode of Adventure is Nigh.
Oh yeah.
One little duel
100%.
that does not go where you expect it to go, and it is beautiful.
It was yet another skillful avoiding of conflict on our party's part.
Can I commend you guys on having an altercation that doesn't require me to do 10 hours of sound design? Thank you so much.
I try to do as many of the sound effects as I can, Jay. I'm sorry.
Dude, whenever I hear you, I'm like thinking about how I'm going to do it, and then you do it with your mouth. I'm like, Jack, I love you. Like, I just skip it.
Would it help if just every time we did anything, we just made the sound with our mouths?
Yes, it would.
We're just
would it
Police
be better?
Academy.
I don't know.
Anyway, Zaratha gives 10 dollars and says, "Oh yes, Tomodachi Life. I've seen players removing every feature from the Mii's faces except for an asterisk-shaped mouth. What an a-hole that guy became." The dumb tip.
Like arseface.
Yeah. Mindule gives $2 and says, "The gas station Come and Go is objectively funny."
I do agree. Why is it called that?
I know.
What? That's real?
It's
feel like
KUM and Go.
There's got to be some level where they are aware that it's a thing, and they just keep it because they know it sparks conversation. I very much suspect this is the case with a famous Australian brand of ice cream called the Golden Gay Time. And it was called that from like olden times, but they still call it that. And they've got like ad campaigns these days with the slogan, "It's hard to have a gay time on your own." And I'm like, yeah, you know
what's going on.
You know
I've got
what's
one.
going on.
I've got one for that. There's I think it's in England, in Dawlish Warren. There's a guy who has an ice cream shop, and his last name was Gay, and he named his shop Gay's Creamery.
Yes.
Fire. Like you know what's going on there.
All right.
And of course, there's Spotted Dick.
I went a little up north the other weekend because there was a good thrift store that I found, or at least I found online. I went to that thrift store. It was bad. I'm not going to call them out on it, but I went a little up north, a little outside of my area, and I came across a funeral home that was named after the last name, supposedly, of the funeral director. The last name of the funeral director was Ploppers.
No.
Ploppers Funeral Home is a real thing that exists.
I suppose we should be grateful they weren't sewage technicians.
Oh my God, Eric found it!
Eric found Gay's Creamery. He's a wizard.
Eric, there is no way that you could have found that, and I didn't even finish saying the name yet.
I mean,
how many magician?
How many Ploppers funeral homes are there in the world?
That's fair, but
one, I hope.
But like, yes, Ploppers Funeral Home, and it's at that point you cannot. I'm sorry, you cannot name your funeral home Ploppers.
I mean, Yahtzee, you made the joke. I would trust a like if I had to call a maintenance man to like fix my toilet, and they was from the Ploppers family, I'd be like, okay, you guys probably know about Ploppers, so
yeah,
you know what you're doing.
Get all this shit out of here. Yeah.
How do you feel about deliberately funny business names? Because I once saw like a contractor's van with the slogan Bodget, Stingham, and Scarpa. Like it was their names.
I distrust them immediately.
Yeah.
I did
it feels a smidge try hard. Right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm going for Vietnamese noodle dishes and they're called the Pho Kings, I will not go there because I'm guessing that their pho is no good and they needed to make up for that with a clever name.
Yeah,
right.
That they hope drunk people will click on for
Exactly.
like Uber Eats at 11 at night or whatever.
Yeah. I distrust them immediately.
Yeah.
Hey, with the Four Kings in Dark Souls also making that joke?
Four Kings? Oh, maybe.
The Four Kings.
The Four Kings?
Yes. Four King Hell.
I like that.
Sinos the Hedgehog gives $5 and says, "If silver for Yahtzee tries means go back and play more, and gold means installed on your Steam Deck, what's copper? Recommended but you'll only play once? You're putting more thought into it than I did when I wrote that script." Sinos the Hedgehog. It was just a throwaway joke. It wasn't even a joke. Don't work it into the lore. Anyway, Hairy Marshmallow gives $1 and says nothing. Well, you got to give more than that to compete with Tsunami Dusha, my friend.
Thanks, Harry Marshmallow. Also, that's a disgusting thought. A marshmallow covered in hair. Get that out of here.
Well,
I love it.
Maybe it. I don't know. I can't follow that up. Yes, no. Don't eat
Stay Puff's balls. Just
don't eat hairy marshmallows. They've probably been dropped on the ground or something.
Fair.
Richard Wells, which I just wanted to mention could be shortened to Dick Wells, gives $20 and says the mini boss from Jedi Survivor called Rick the Door Technician was an enjoyable bit of comedy and relief during a difficult area.
yeah,
That's a great one.
And one of the Batman Arkham games did that too. Built up a boss fight that you end up you think is going to be a big to do, and you win in one punch.
Yeah, the Spider-Man 2 did that as well.
Yeah, with Mysterio. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really fun. Soldier of Godric in the tutorial area of Elden Ring has become a bit of a meme. Yeah.
In what way? I don't know.
So it is like there is a hidden tutorial area within Elden Ring where you kind of go through, and that's where they kind of teach you what all the buttons do. And at the very end of that, you fight a boss with a boss health bar called the Soldier of Godric. This is a plain ass soldier that is everywhere within the game.
Gotcha.
Here he has a boss health bar, and so the powerful Soldier of Godric's.
This is the tutorial area that's underneath. Once
you have to like drop down the little hole.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not that hidden.
No, but it's a funny. It's funny to give you that one victory and then immediately throw you out the front door, and then there's that horse sentinel.
Yeah,
it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
Oh wow, good job! You beat the boss. You're ready for the rest of the game.
Yes,
he's his dad.
Yeah.
Raven gives $2 and says, "Junk!" 5 exclamation marks. So happy to see the new season of AIN.
Out now.
What an
plug. And then Murray the Demonic Skull comes back with $2 and says, "Portal 2, funny when you get your partner crushed." Yes, when you're playing the co-op mode, obviously.
Portal 2 is great overall. Yeah,
it's pretty good. Nick Knoll gives $5 and then says, "See reply."
I have the reply right here queued up.
Yeah,
do you have it?
Yes, the comments then add, "My favorite comedy engine is naming your character Fuck Me in Pokemon for all the dialogue. I've just met you, right? Fuck me."
The gift that keeps on giving. Apparently you can't say fuck me in a super chat.
Oh, okay. I mean, I did that in a review once, and like I said, I named my character Fuck Me to make the dialogue funny. I also once mentioned like naming a character in a Zelda game, I say, and then every other character talks like Foghorn Leghorn.
I think I saw like someone if you name Link Bro, every NPC sounds super chill. Listen here, bro.
Yeah.
That's just playing Pogopia. They talk like that by default.
Yeah.
That's right, guys. What do you guys, when you name characters in games, do you give them canonical names? Do you give them your name? Do you try to make a goof? Does it depend?
Well, these days I just call them Yachts. I just call everyone Yachts because I've played too many games to like really get invested in that anymore.
Sure. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, especially for a first playthrough.
I always name Link. Always.
Yeah, if it makes sense in the lore or they're a character, bless you, then it will be the canonical name, and if not, it's just Jay. Jay.
Sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit sassy, I'll call a character Sausage.
Ooh, I like that.
I still to this day remember Fart. Second week in a row we've mentioned Fart.
Fart
for my dozens,
vintage Earthbound Fart.
Earthbound.
Yeah. Nice. My dozens of Dark Souls playthroughs, I just try to name them after the build that I'm making, so I remember which one they are when I come back.
Oh,
that's actually good. Yeah, sometimes
like fire guy. Oh, great.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I always do a pyromancer, so I have fire something.
There you go. Thanks, fire guy.
Yeah.
I think I pretty much always have at least some pyromancy. I mean, it's basically a free ranged attack.
I just like to theme my characters in Dark Souls, but let's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think you also might have missed one. Yeah, it's from Murray the Demonic Skull, $2 Canadian.
Was that the Portal 2 one?
Yeah, did you say that one?
Yeah, I said that one.
He did.
Fucking.
And we I'm gonna go walk witty banter about it for 10 minutes, Marty. What the fuck?
I'm gonna go. What we did not banter for 10 minutes.
Everybody, like, let's just take a moment. There are 4 of us here today. That's not a usual thing. Everyone's a little crazy. There's a full moon over the weekend, and I heard that like Scorpio was rising, and so like everyone's just like a little bit on edge.
We found out that there's no bandicoot at the Dane County Zoo, at the Henry Vilas Zoo.
We're very upset about that.
Wait, what's your guys' temperature on zoos? Because I feel kind of sad when I go to them. I think they're kind of sad.
My kids love going to the zoo.
But when you think too much about it, you're like, these animals don't want to be here.
Yeah, or they could be dead, you know.
Or
Yeah, zookeepers are very big on, caring for them properly and keeping them happy.
The education, the animal education is worth their possible discomfort. And Yahtzee and I, as parents, zoos are indispensable time wasters. They're wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Great.
It's great. It's a great place to take kids.
Oh, we went to the Oakland Zoo not too long ago, and there was a very noisy gibbon. Just a gibbon in a tree, just going hooty hooty hoot, and you could hear it from like halfway across the park. It was amazing.
A noisy gibbon also is a good way to just dunk on one of us for being annoying. Yeah. Just call one of us a noisy gibbon.
We are all. Let's change the name of the podcast. We're the noisy gibbons.
I would 100% go to see that band.
Noisy Gibbon.
You see Noisy Gibbon tonight?
Noisy Gibbons.
Yeah.
Well, I got good news for you. There's a song called "Funky Gibbon" by the Goodies.
There we go.
The Goodies.
Yeah.
It
goes do the funky gibbon.
Wow.
Yes, the Goodies. They were like a comedy troupe in like the 70s in the UK.
Oh. Nice.
Anyway, Witticism gives $5 and says, "Where does Disco Elysium's skill checks fit in? They're clearly authored, but I got so much laughter from its subversion of skill checks and modifiers." I think it's just because there's so much writing in Disco Elysium that the jokes that don't land so well you forget, and you remember all the ones that did land.
And it's also jokes coming from your own decisions. So it is authored humor, but unlike a Psychonauts, say, which has a million funny lines, but they're just kind of set at you, like in cutscenes and whatever. And so you're kind of just experiencing them like, oh, that was funny. That was funny. This is like funny lines and scenarios as a direct results of your choices. So they feel a little bit like they have your thumbprint on it, even though obviously they're still just as written.
Yeah.
And the unexpected as well.
You remind me of a joke from the first Leisure Suit Larry game that actually made me laugh.
What was that?
Where there's a bit towards the end of the game where you find a blow-up doll. And obviously, once you have the blow-up doll, you type inflate blow-up doll. And then you get to see the blow-up doll in all its glory. And then you type have sex with blow-up doll. And the game goes, do we have to? And then you just type yes. And then the game goes, okay. And your character proceeds to make use of the blow-up doll in its intended way.
That's pretty good stuff.
Amazing.
That's beautiful. And then you win. Then you win the game because that's the whole point.
It skips to the end of the game.
I mean, basically.
Far Cry 4.
Did you think Esoteric Ebb had funny writing? I haven't played it yet, but do you think that was
I would say yes. It's funny in sort of the Terry Pratchett's Discworld sense, in that it's the sort of humor that comes from tackling the magical world of fantasy, but with a sort of contemporary, realistic approach.
Sure.
So, like, all the wizards set up life insurance companies and things like that.
Yeah.
Tsunami Douche gives $20. Oh, and I just realized I missed a super chat to say that.
Douche.
We'll just enjoy that and then go back into Shanty 5455, who gave us £4.99 and says, "What's the best way for a newcomer to get into Adventure is Nigh? Do you recommend starting from Series 1, Episode 1, or is there a more recent good jump-in point?" See, this is tricky. You kind of need the background, but I think it took us a while to get into our stride.
Here's what I'll say. If you want to dip a toe in, there's two options for dipping a toe in. Yahtzee, myself, and Jenna Stieber did a one-off episode not connected to any story called The Joker's Folly. It's about a little over an hour, has nothing to do with the rest of the story. We'll give you a good idea on whether or not you like the format. I also did a thing called the Mostly Improvised Dungeon, a little bit different, but basically the same format. And again, it's not connected to any story. So if you like those, you will probably like the humor of the story. You can then go back to Season 1, Episode 1, and make your way through.
I think it's worth saying that the dynamic of the main characters in the main series is also a big part of the appeal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People do fan art and shit.
Yeah. And like I completely understand when you see, we're on the 5th season of something, you're like, oh, that's kind of daunting that there's this many hours of things. So I totally get that, but I completely agree. Like Yats just said, like, it is one of those things. I haven't heard anyone who said oh, I regret starting with 1 by the time I got to 3, because by the time you're at season 2 or season 3, you're like, oh, this is all great. Like this is all this is all part of the clock around these characters.
Yeah, just put on season 1, maybe like do something in the second screen or while it's playing in the background. Just like listen with half an ear, and then when things start making you laugh, start paying more attention.
Yeah, there you go. Easy peasy.
Okay. Thanos the Hedgehog comes back with $5 and says, I can't find Portal's physics funny. I just see a puzzle game and enjoy solving them. Also, I don't get deadpan humor. Maybe I prefer actual funny jokes. I think you're just bad at comedy, Thanos the Hedgehog. You are bad at appreciating comedy by the sounds of it.
No, I do see the like seeing a puzzle and just wanting to solve it, of almost being like I'm putting blinders on and like I am only focused on, because like there's people handle situations like that differently. There's like, let me kick the tires and see how much I could break this game, or
like a dumb horse.
Fuck a dumb horse.
Like a dumb horse. What?
Oh,
I also thought you said fuck a dumb horse, and I was waiting for the Britishism that like followed that.
That's 2 against 1. Maybe I did say that.
I mean, he got most of the way to saying fuck a duck, which is Britishism.
Which is a British,
Anyway. Personally, I've always been fond of Bugger, my old brown dog.
Oh no, Toffee, get out of there! Toffee, get out of there!
Like, I think I do want to say that I think deadpan humor is like incredibly situational and does not work a lot. And a lot of people default to deadpan humor. A lot of people who aren't skilled enough default to deadpan humor. So I understand why you don't like that.
You know who doesn't? Andrew Dice Clay.
You want the masterclass? Just watch any Leslie
over
Nielsen
the weekend,
film.
Marty. I made something.
You made something related to Andrew Dice Clay? What does that mean? Like you went to a pottery class?
Like a paper mache mask?
You made a clay dice and you put Andrew Dice Clay's face on the 6.
I made over at the Patreon movie night. Shout out to our Phoenix tier patrons who once a month we all watch a movie together and we goof over it. We watched The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, the Andrew Dice Clay movie, in which Andrew Dice Clay does his Andrew Dice Clay thing, which is make weird noises. And so over the weekend, I did make a super cut of all the weird noises and line reads that he made during that movie. And it will be out later today on my personal YouTube channel.
I always get Andrew Dice Clay momentarily confused with Andrew WK. So whenever you
understandable.
Andrew Dice Clay,
their names sound very familiar when you similar when you say them.
I pictured the dude with the blood running from his nose on that album cover.
Yeah. They both like getting a party started, I'm sure. They both party hard.
True.
Yeah.
And they both had better get ready to die.
Yeah.
On stage, that is. Anyway, Mindule gets $2 and says the jump apple goof in Portal 2 is unrepeatable. Yeah, that's a good joke. Well done.
Jump apple goof.
What's the jump apple goof?
I don't remember.
Well, that's the joke at the very start where it's like a tutorial where Wheatley says wants to make sure you aren't brain damaged from your cryosleep. So he says, "Say apple," and then a button prompt comes up saying, "Press space to say apple," and then you press space and it's the jump key, as it always is. And so Wheatley goes, "Okay, that was a jump, close enough."
Okay, good goof. That's a good goof.
Yeah.
Matt Tatard gives $1.99. Great name, by the way. And says, Metal Arms glitch in the system. Great comedy. Okay.
That was like a GameCube PS2 era, almost like Ratchet and Clank, but you played as like a couple little clankers. Yeah, I don't remember too much about the game. Bring it back, you cowards.
Is it related to Ratchet and Clank?
No, it looks a lot like Ratchet and Clank, and it came out around the same time as Ratchet and Clank.
I think Clank just has a sort of generic toy robot look going on. He looks a lot like the main character from the game,
I think he's
as well.
Instantly recognizable,
Clank?
as the character.
Well, maybe, but he still looks like the archetypal toy robot.
Yeah, which is modeled after Metropolis. The being from Metropolis.
Thanks a lot, Fritz Lang. Shout out to Germans.
B. Smalley gives $2 and says, Titanium Court made me lol multiple times. I have been enjoying what I've played of that. It's got a very Douglas Adams-y sense of humor, I'd say.
Ooh.
Yeah. That is one where the humor is authored, but it is also one of those, what if I do this? And the game is like, I did account for that. And it gives you a goof based on that. So it almost feels like you get ownership over that goof because you're like, oh, I didn't expect you to acknowledge that I could do this.
Yeah.
It's quite well written. And it makes a lot of mileage out of just having random imagery pop up to sort of illustrate the mood.
Yeah.
Like something funny
Every time I
happens,
see the dog getting the frisbee, I think it's very funny.
Yeah. Every time you, like you win
a really
mission
shitty art of a dog catching a frisbee in midair, and they use it every once in a while, and it's really good.
Yeah. They just throw it up to signal that you won something, and it just goes, "Hey, here is an image representing success." Murray the Demonic Skull gives $2. It says Psychonauts Milkman Conspiracy level design humor. Yeah, that is a funny level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that futzes with like the actual like a geometry of a level as well.
Yeah.
Psychonauts is a
Makes
good
you
game.
go upside down and shit.
Good game.
Ginger Grave gives $5. Says the game that has gotten the most genuine laughs out of my whole family is Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah, I had that on the thumb. Yeah. I put that in the thumbnail as well, because that is. I wasn't sure if that was because it is mechanically funny, but it's purposefully those are the core mechanics. of the game. So I wasn't sure where that kind of fit.
The whole game's designed to be reactive to what you do, and that's what makes it funny, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I will say that game is heavily reliant on you thinking I'm a goose bastard is funny in the outset, which I don't.
I don't find that funny?
I played like an hour of that game, and I was like, I get what it's like being told I'm gonna tell you a goose bastard joke, and then the punchline is the goose was a bastard. I'm like,
no, that's fair enough.
Okay.
Wait, is a goose bastard a type of joke? Am I just extremely confused?
Yeah, they made a whole fucking game about it. What do you mean?
It's the same kind of like, back in the day when people just thought, like pirates and ninjas were the funniest thing, and you can add pirates and ninjas to things to make them funny.
Oh, I don't think that, because I completely agree that the pirate ninja thing was very dumb, or like epic bacon, that kind of shit. Like Reddit humor. I don't know. I don't think the Goose Game's the same.
Like Goose Game for me is akin to like epic bacon, 100%.
This is a world changer.
Well, but you know what? Comedy is art, and art is subjective, and that's okay that we can disagree.
Well, let's save that argument for another time, because we've still got a few super chats to get through.
Debate about
and I want my fucking lunch.
Start eating on the stream. You had all the snacks that one time. People loved it.
Right next to the mic, just eat my cheese puffs, going nom 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 right in people's ears.
Yeah, be great.
Is that what you want?
Good money for that.
That's
anyway,
also true.
Vactor, member for 28 months in the Green Gang, says the villagers in RE4, if you know Spanish, good stuff. Yeah, specifically, there's one line they do, which translated to English means, I'm behind you, idiot, which is a useful one to listen out for, because they only say it when they're behind you and about to stab you.
That's fun.
That's great.
You just bear in mind that the Spanish word for idiot is imbecile, so you just listen for villagers saying the word imbecile, and that's when you know to turn around.
How do they talk about an idiot who embezzles anything, though? Think about it.
Embezzle.
It's the same etymology as imbecile.
Imbecile. Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, Far Too Many Frogs gives $5. Says making my own comedy, playing Ghostwire Tokyo with a girlfriend. She's enjoying the horror. I'm looking for Mr. Tengu, whose gender is Tengu. Thank you for sharing your hilarious in-joke with us.
You gotta find a little Tengu. I like a Tengu. Mythological birdman.
A Superb Owner gives $5. Says, everyone sing it together now. Let's all laugh with a medium that always makes me laugh. Yum, yum, yum.
Oh.
I like the yum, yum, yum at the end. I was expecting that.
Yum. That's not the sound of laughter. That's the sound of enjoying food.
That's the sound of you eating your lunch in the microphone.
There you go. Blistered Soul is $4.99 and says speedrunners pushing games engines to their limits have made so many funny discoveries. It's what makes them good for live streams despite repetition. I could sometimes watch like a crazy speedrun, and I'm not sure it makes me laugh. It just makes me sort of feel like I need to grip the seat of my chair and go steady on. Like we're like 5 minutes into Half-Life, we're already in. We've got hostiles. What the fuck are you doing?
Right. Sometimes it is just. Sometimes it's mind-boggling watching a speedrun and just like, hey, I need to catch up. I need to pause this. Absolutely.
Sinus the Hedgehog gives $2. Says, got a name for that Gecko Gods term, Zelda Crawler. Thank you very much. I will remember
Zelda
that.
Crawler.
Yeah, I was talking about the specific genre of games that Gecko Gods falls into, which is like, you are a lone wanderer in a ruined landscape, and there's melancholy music playing, and it's all under a nice blue sky, and you have to find the ancient machines and turn them back on to open the door to the next area.
Pretty sad 'em ups.
Right.
Yeah, and there's always long grass. Pretty good odds you'll find long grass.
You can
Short
slice.
grass isn't fun to look at. Long grass, though,
No.
swaying in the wind. Ooh,
Yeah, it's
yeah, long
artistic.
grass.
Silence Hedgehog gives $2. Oh, done that one. Jonathan Griffin gives $2 and says, Marty, Testament of Anne Lee for Rewind tomorrow.
Gotta watch it tonight.
Marty?
I gotta watch it tonight. I gotta watch
Marty?
it. I said I was gonna watch it right before the pod. It's on the docket tonight. Will I remember when 8 p.m. rolls around? We'll see. How long? Do you think that was like a tight 90?
No, that felt like a movie far too long for its britches.
Murray the Demonic Skull gives $2. Says, I can green card marry one SW, will check polygamy law. Referring to us having to move to Canada.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something.
Oh no, it's 137 minutes. I might be taking that green card marriage. By the way, well, instead of watching the Testament of Anne Lee, I will just become Canadian.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to England if America disintegrates.
Mm.
I mean, unless they do that thing where they split into different nations, and so California and the coastal states become some kind of ultra progressive utopia, and ditch all the other states. So we've got a whole bunch more money suddenly.
Possible.
Yeah, I might stick around if that happens. Anyway, Jam on Toast gives $1.99 and says, my granddad once had a doctor named Dr. Death. Do you think he insisted on pronouncing it Death or something?
Dr.
Or
Death.
Dr.
Dr.
Death.
Death. Dr. Death.
Yes, yes.
Dr.
It's
Death.
pronounced Frankenstein.
Pronounce Igor.
Yes, that was the film I was referencing. Thanks for keeping up. Gabe M. Mountain gives $5 and says, one of my favorite Dark Souls 2 moments was watching my friend get barreled off the edge of a platform by one of the turtle knights in the lava castle.
Mm.
Yeah, that was overdoing it.
Someone mentioned in the chat earlier. I forgot about how funny the moment is at the Radahn's festival, and you fight Radahn, and you bring in all those NPC characters. You can bring in Patches, and he just stays there for a couple seconds, and then nopes out of the fight.
Yes.
And so you have this amazing moment with you and the jar and all of your buds going towards Radahn, and then Patches is like, I don't want to be here, and he just leaves. I did not sign up for this.
Yeah, fair play to the guy.
It's good stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Wojtek comes back with $5. Says, first time watching this live in a while. Nice to see you all. Yes, it's been a while since we've heard from you, Wojtek. Wojtek the bear.
Just history's number one bear.
Happy
Little
to
bullet.
see you, mate.
Yeah.
Murray the Demonic Skull gives $5 Canadian dollars. Says, in Twilight Princess, name your horse My Mother. So everyone talking to Link or whatever you name him, compliment you for riding my mother.
Oh no, Link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small things, please, small minds.
Yeah.
The Toasty Tart gives $10. It says, call back to the Make Me Cry episode last week. Just finished Lost Records Bloom and Rage, and that got me to tear up a bit. I've never heard of that.
Oh.
That is from the. I think that's a either in the universe of Life is Strange or a spin-off of Life is Strange, or it's Life is Strangey.
Generally
Strange Life.
speaking.
Life is Strangey.
That doesn't really recommend it for me. I
haven't played it. That's just what it is. Yeah.
Fuzzy Freestyle gives $2 Canadian and says, the key to comedy is... Now, is this one of those things where you're going to go do another super chat 10 minutes down the line that says timing?
100%.
Well, they
But
are
my worry is I don't know if we have
typing
10
out.
minutes left in the podcast because
I know.
we have a couple super chats left. It would be really funny if next week you just write timing.
Yeah.
And all of us will be like, we don't get it. We don't. What is that even a reference to?
Yeah.
I
We
think
will
that's
have
probably
forgotten.
That's probably what he's going to do now.
100%.
What was that Twitter account that was like Dr. Frankenfurter. And it's posted one tweet that was just, I see you quiver with anticip. And then it didn't tweet again for like 10 years.
You know what? Love it.
That's good.
Love it.
PT70747 goes 199 and says, No One Lives Forever 1 and 2, hilarious NPC enemy conversations. Yes, shame you can't really play that game on anything anymore. But yes, that game was notable for its funny conversations between NPCs. It was the king of funny NPC conversations before the Batman Arkham games.
Okay.
Or
the Arkham
Thief.
ones that we have good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, Thief was always good at funny NPCs having conversations when they don't know you're there as well. Check it out. Anyone else want to highlight a good NPC conversations game?
Time Splitters.
Time Splitters is a good one. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. The Last of Us Part 2, where they scream out the name of their dog after. Oh no! You got Billy!
Oh no!
Why does this game have anything funny in it? Give me something funny! You goddamn Blake!
Oh no, you killed Mr. Chuffy Balls and his dog.
No.
Wait a minute. Chuffy Balls was the man?
Yes.
Yes, that was the joke. Thanks for keeping up. Catherine Reutz gives $10 and says, catching the end. No idea what has been said yet. I would like to join the coastal progressive utopia, but I'm landlocked in Wyoming.
Oh,
took me a second to remember what WY was. Have a good day. Wyoming, that's one
Wyoming,
of the boring...
Very pretty.
It's one of the boring rectangle states, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. So. But it's one of the most beautiful states.
There's only two states that are pure rectangles: Wyoming and Colorado. I remember that from when I taught myself all the states.
Yeah.
What do you mean pure rectangle? Like they're not having sex until marriage?
No, they're just perfectly straight lines on each side. Like not even like the funny little stairs at the bottom of New Mexico or anything else.
Oh, funny little stairs.
Yeah, you know,
like funny little stairs.
Yeah.
And then Fuzzy Freestyle comes back with $2 and says, "Timing, you caught me. Great episode today, lads." Yeah,
it's good performance.
Yeah,
thank you, dude.
Now Toffee's making little.
You know what? I still liked it. I still liked it.
I think it's a good goof.
Yeah, the fact they got caught makes it funnier.
Yeah,
still liked it.
Resident Junie gives $5 and says, "Simple minds amused by simple things. I always name Link Twink on subsequent replays. Always makes me laugh." Shrug.
Small things in life. Listen, give yourself
small twinks in life.
Small twinks in life.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to remember if there's any bears in Zelda games.
The Gorons are kind of bear coded.
Gorons are pretty beary.
Yeah, Link would be quite the twink if he was in a relationship with the Goron.
Sure.
That who are the what
guys
are the
who build the house? Like the village builders?
I'm just thinking about like the super buff warrior ladies in Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like the Gerudo?
Right,
Gerudos.
right.
Yeah. I like them.
Well, on that note, what a delightful note to end on, because that's the last of the Super Chats. Thank you for listening to the Windbreakers podcast or watching it on YouTube, as apparently most people do watch podcasts these days. I've heard statistics reflect that.
Sure.
Everyone's getting there. The rest is history, and Pod Save America on YouTube. For some reason, it's just nice seeing people's faces, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you enjoyed this, we've got podcasts and other videos all week. My videos in particular, fully ramblomatic this week on the subject of Aphelion. Don't Nod's a new one. Developers of Vampire Banishes Goes to New Eden and the original Life is Strange, so I don't think they made any of the newer ones. I've also got a semi-ram dropping this week. It is on the subject of...
Something about Pragmata?
I can never remember. Oh, yes, it's about hacking minigames.
Hacking, okay.
I can never remember the moment. I write these like 2 weeks in advance, so I can never remember by the time they actually come out.
the day after one publishes, Yahtzee's script is in, it's approved, and his VO's in. So by the time it's getting ready to publish, it's been weeks.
I know.
No way
I've played like 9,000 other games and written 9,000 other things. And also my weekly stream, Yahtzee Tries. Haven't decided what I'm playing yet, but I never do until the day, pretty much. And yeah, that's all the stuff I mean this week. What else we got?
Jack, as our guest, what do we have coming? What do we have on your
if you haven't seen it yet, check out New Adventures Nigh. I will be back tomorrow with Marty and with Darren on the Rewind to talk some sort of movies. What movies? I have no idea yet. And then I will be streaming Dark Souls 2 with Jess Hoops on Thursday. And if you go to my personal YouTube channel right now, you can see a new video that I made called Every Noise is a Painting, Andrew Dice Clay.
Every noise is a painting.
To be honest, during those last couple of super chats, I was making the thumbnail.
And so if you have to ask, is it bad? Yes, the thumbnail's probably bad.
It is. It's 100% bad. But you know what it is? It's done. So you can check that out on my personal YouTube channel. That's all I got. Oh my God, Eric, you found it. By the way,
I subscribed and I saved it to later.
I think that's a pretty good thumbnail.
I think it's a great thumbnail. I think it's beautiful. Yeah. Incredibly dumb.
All right. What else we got?
Jay, what do you got going on?
Currently working on my design delve on Final Fantasy VIII, which will be out next Monday. And there's no dev heads this week, so I guess I got my personal streams. That's about it, really.
Right. And then we'll be back. Hidden Gems, Hot Money Energy, normal time tonight with the regular crew. Darren will have a new backdrop tomorrow in the morning, as well as the Rewind with us. And then we should have normal streams and vids the rest of the week. And
and did we mention Storycraft dropped this morning?
Oh yeah, of course. Storycraft dropped this morning. Great episode by Jess. A nice beefy 25-minute episode on. We talked about some of those games before, but games where you have voices in your head, narrators in your head,
and we all have cameos in it, don't we? Except Jay.
Right, we do.
Yeah, apart from me, which is odd considering my proximity to her.
Well, you're not the one who just brought it up. I'm just saying, Jack brought it up. So
she hears your voice way too often. So she's like, we just gotta.
I hear my own voice way too often, Jack. I sympathize.
So tune in for that. And yep.
All right. Well, that's all coming up. But for right now, I'll say see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for the super chats. Like and subscribe to the Patreon and all of that. Okay, you can go now.